going to make a spinning top. We're going to use Lego Spike Prime to create a top that spins really fast and then battles another top. Will your top spin the fastest? Will you win the battles? We'll have to wait and see. Here's some rules and tips. So basically you just got to start with some sort of frame, and we're going to create some different levels on the frame so that we can use cogs on different levels so they can connect to each other easier. So just use a lot of these pink beams. Start by putting those grey pieces in with a little black piece in the middle, and then I added a pink beam across there. And then next to it, on either side of that one, I put another beam. Once those three beams are in place, then I flipped it over. And this is the side where I'm going to attach my motor. So in the third last hole and the second last hole, I put some black pins and then a couple more beams. It's important to put down the motor first, because if you put the motor on first, then you can just build from there. So I attach the motor. It's good if you can make it nice and firm, so I use 4 pins. Then I put the little yellow axle inside the motor with the largest cog, and then I put a little bush on top to hold it in place. Then I put an axle right through the middle of the middle beam with a grey cog on it, because this will extend through to the other side, and I can attach the smallest black cog then after I put a bush or two on there, just one bush. Then when I put the black cog on there, that big black cog will turn the little black cog. And because it's a large cog turning a small cog, it'll turn it really fast. So you can always test it again on the heart mode, press enter, and then use the arrow keys to test the motor speed. So that's spinning a little cog underneath, which makes a larger cog on top turn. Then we can make that large grey cog turn a smaller cog. And this is where I used 2 bushes, and then added the beige coloured cog that fits nicely in there. So the motor's going to turn the big cog, which will turn a little cog, which makes another big cog turn, which makes a smaller cog turn. And then I'm going to put a beam across the bottom here. You can do this any way you like. It's just a matter of experimenting and seeing if you can get the cogs to line up. But the advantage of having lots of layers of beams is that you've got lots of options of where to put things. So now that beige cog is going to turn another big one. And that big one's going pretty fast by now. But then that big one's going to turn the little one that's actually on the top itself that was spinning, the spinning top. So I just tested it out and I thought, hang on, this isn't working. The cogs weren't joined together very well. So sometimes you might want to use a beam or something to hold the axles together so the cogs turn better. So I use one of these yellow bent beams or arms, and then I secured it in place over the top of a couple of axles, and then I used a couple of little yellow bushes to hold it in place. And then it was a lot tighter and the cogs didn't separate. So when I tested it on the heart mode, it worked really good. That big cog's turning heaps fast. So I just added a few bushes to hold everything in place so things didn't slide around. And then I made a couple of tops and I experimented with them to see if they would spin. Always with a little gap at the top of the axle to go into a beam. And then a small cog at the very top of the top. Test this out, see if it's going to make my top spin. Heart mode, arrow keys. It's going really fast now. I decided to change the design slightly and use a couple of blue pins instead of black pins, which are a bit longer and they stick out a bit further. And this particular beam, the little 5-hole beam, is going to hold a little swinging arm on it that holds the spinning top in place until you want it to let go, because you've got to flip it over at some stage so the top can hit the ground. So I made this arm and that just slides in nicely there. It won't stop it from spinning, but it will hold it in place and it can let go whenever I want it to let go. So you put the top in, put the arm in place, turn it on, and when you want it to go, you let go. Just swing that arm out. So hold it in place and then you can let it go and it spins on the ground. So that's pretty cool. It's good to have an arm there that you can release the top. Otherwise it's hard to tip it over and make it work if you don't have an arm. So then I attached the hub to the whole gizmo and it was pretty tricky, but it ended up being quite a solid unit and working pretty well. So it spun with the arm in place, put my finger on the arm, getting ready to release it, turn it over, release, and then it spins. Beautiful, it's working well. I decided to use the lid of my tub as a little battle arena, so you could put a couple of tops on there at the same time. You could say ready, set, go. And you can try and see which one spins the longest. Sometimes they'll hit each other and battle. Sometimes they'll just outspin each other. So you can experiment with different designs for tops. That's a pretty cool design. But I found that if I use a small wheel instead, then it actually works even better. So I've got a top small wheel now. And look at that. Spins for ages. When making your top, there's a few little rules that you should stick to make sure that it works well. It's good to test them out just by hand. Every spinning top will need some sort of axle. It doesn't really matter how long it is. You can decide how long you want it. But just give it a bit of a test before you put it in your machine to make sure it works. But a good design will have a small bit at the top and then a cog and then one of those, what's called a wedge belt wheel, and then that'll give you plenty of room for your arm to hold it in place on your actual mechanical spinner. So give it a bit of a test with your hands before you even put it in the machine. You can come up with any design you like. This is a pretty complicated one which works reasonably well, but you can decide your own design and then you can battle. So here's a bit of a close-up look at my design. Your design could look completely different. The main thing is you get large cogs turning small cogs, because if a large cog spins, it's going to make the small cog turn really fast. Every time the large cog does a lap, the small cog will do several rotations. Make big ones turn little cogs and you'll end up with something that spins really fast. And it's good to have some sort of arm that's going to hold your top in place while you turn it over. So here's another look at my tops, and you can see that there is an axle with a couple of bushes and then that wedge belt wheel without a tyre on it, and then a little cog, and that'll be a pretty cool little top. And just test it out. Once you've made it, just test it with your fingers and see if it works. So you could use some pretty simple program with this. Just have when the program starts, set the speed to a certain speed that you want, probably the fastest you can go, 100%. And then you just make it run for 15 seconds or so. Or you could use the heart mode. So you can press enter when you see the heart and then use the left arrow or the right arrow to control the speed. If you use one button several times, it'll get faster and faster and faster. You can always stop it with the green light and then press enter again to start again and spin the opposite way. Sometimes you might win battles better if you go in the opposite way to the other person. So you've got 5 speeds to pick from and it's all manually chosen, and then you can just press the green button to stop or start. Some people prefer this, but if your robot is built in such a way that you can't see the buttons very easily, you might decide to use the coding instead because it might be easier to control. But I found when I was testing it and when I was battling that the heart mode was pretty good. It is time to pause this video now. If you want to see the code, you can pause it now. Also, if you want to see the rules. Otherwise, keep watching for the teacher instructions. These are pretty simple teacher instructions besides the actual Spike Prime kits that you'll need. You don't really need anything extra, apart from maybe the battle arena, which you can just use your lid from your Spike Prime tub for that. And you also might want to use a spreadsheet of mine to help you keep track of the scores. I've got lots of options, including a knockout competition and even another type of ladder that keeps track of everyone's scores. So you can try those if you want. And thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe and check out my channel for my other videos.